people are stuck in the place that they're in largely because of the fact that they're not around people that challenge them. And it's not that they don't know those people don't challenge them, it's that they're scared to be alone.
I am going to make a personal commitment to execution over perfection.
Right now, my company is making, over $200,000 a month.
If you give me a piece of music, what am I going to play? And you put that same, piece of music or elements of music in the hands of Michael Jackson, what is that going to create? Little becomes much when you place it in the hands of the master.
Well, welcome to another edition of Believers Breathe, the podcast, where the aim is to help people embrace self-awareness, self-confidence, and self-worth. I sit down with proven leaders, proven entrepreneurs that have reached certain levels of success, not just because of their skill set, but more so because of their mindset. I'm so excited about today's episode. I think this is the first time I've interviewed one of my students. So I feel like I'm getting older, but hopefully I can continue to hear more and more success stories. I have Mr. Zyhir with me today, but I'm gonna let you introduce yourself to the people.
I'm Zyhir Baker-Elam, a 24-year-old entrepreneur from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I'm the owner of It's a Philly Thing.
For sure.
Still a food truck.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, man, let's dive into who you are. Again, the owner, operator, CEO, founder of It's a Philly Thing. And I'm always interested to know where people's journey started. Before we get started, I do want to kind of go into a funny story. The person that's behind the camera today had the opportunity to meet Coach Cheese.
Okay.
And Coach Cheese, for those of you who may not know, is Zyhir's former track coach at TSU. Cool. And she's a former Olympian. So this guy, who's helping me out today, shout out to Ivan, I appreciate that. My girl Nicole is out of town, and he's helping me out. But he had just got over the flu, right?
Okay.
And it was Christmas break, and so, us old heads, anytime we think we can be athletic still, we want to do that.
Yeah.
And so we went to the indoor track at TSU, and Coach Cheese was there working out Kwamel.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And so... Yeah. He's different.
Yeah, cute. He's a different person.
He's different.
Yeah.
And so I was gassing my guy up. I'm like, man, she's an Olympian. Go work out with her, see what it's like. And I think she had him doing repeat 200s on the indoor track.
Yeah,
And so he hopped in and he took out on the first couple.
Bad idea.
Yeah, bad idea. And he quickly learned that track workout is different.
Yeah.
But you also came to TSU. You came to Tennessee because of track.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that journey.
Well, I found out about TSU through HBCU tour. So I did the HBCU tour, and I did a list of schools like Hampton, Howard. We went to Clark, we went to Morehouse, we went to Tuskegee, all those schools. And then, we went to TSU. And then I seen TSU, I don't know, the colors, the environment, it was cool. And that was out of all the schools, that was the one I remember the most. And, got a cool environment. So I started looking on the website. And then somehow Coach Gibson, I was in contact with her, back and forth, and then, she was like, you got the opportunity to come and run. So I was like, I'm gonna just go there, and then that was, I wanted to get away from Philly. So
what did you run?
The 400 mainly. Yeah,
400.
I ran the 400, 4x4, and I only did the 800 once or twice. Yeah.
They say you got to be different to run that 400.
Hey, it's different. It's different. They different.
Yeah.
Some people is rolling. It's a sprint. It's not a regular race. In high school you can kind of just but college is full out.
You running whole lap
from the beginning to the end. The end you giving everything you got, and it's just your body, wherever your body is at that point, and that's how you gonna finish.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
See, I was a football guy, and I know running. I thought running for football was tough.
Yeah.
Until I went to basketball.
Yeah.
And then when I saw him try to do that workout with Coach Cheese, I
Yeah.
knew it was different. It was different.
Each sport is different, definitely.
So tell us about Philly, man. Like, you guys are the city of brotherly love.
Yeah.
But like, I always hear about the grit and the grind of Philly. Like,
Yeah.
what is life like in Philly?
It's different. It's different. It's rough growing up. You know, that it's depending on especially like what part of the city you stay in.
Mm-hmm.
So like, but most of the city is is rough. It's rough. Like you got the suburb areas, but mostly it's just jam packed. You know, everybody just living on top of each other. So you know, the city is just it's small in size but big in population. Like as far as like Nashville is like spread out more. So but Philly, everything is just in a bubble. So you know everybody knows each other. You know, and everybody's kind of seeing the same thing. So everybody's doing the same thing. So it's like you kind of geared to what you see the most. You don't really see too much people making it out or doing that. Most of you see is like the same tradition. Like people just graduating, just following behind, their mom and their dad or grandparents. So it's just like everybody's just kind of following the same trend. Nobody's like really being different. So you really gotta kind of just like get out. That's basically what you gotta do. You gotta get out. If you don't get out, you kind of gonna be stuck.
So you never really had an intention to stay in Philly?
Growing up, I just knew it was more to the world. So like I knew it was more, and it's just like it's just I seen everybody doing the same thing. I was like nobody really doing nothing different. So I was like, man, that's like I don't see nobody really doing too much different. And it's just like growing up, I didn't see too many people like owning this and owning that. Like I didn't see like just for example like a photographer comes to our school and just like I ain't know like no black photographers, no black videographers. Like it's just I didn't know too many people just doing these things like regular people just. Like only people you see is like people on TV and stuff like that, like so I feel like that needs to be in schools and stuff more, especially in that city because you don't see that. So kids just like, oh, my uncle he doing this, he doing that, I'll go follow him, I'll go follow his footsteps, and then that leads down the wrong path. Exactly. So it just needs to be more inspiration. Like,
so you're 24. I feel like that's so young to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
With you seeing people going down the wrong path in Philly, like where did that entrepreneur itch come from? Like did you see it from parents, family? Like who started that itch?
My mom. My mom, my dad, both my parents are entrepreneurs. They've been entrepreneurs all my life. But my grandfather, I think that somehow he was kind of like the rock in the family. So growing up, I always wanted to be like him. So he just, I don't know, it's just something like, and it's crazy because now like more and more I realize like I have the opportunity because he kind of put like the family on his back and just created an opportunity. Like as far as like when he opened up the pickle company, my grandfather was the first African American to own a pickle factory in the United States. So like
that's huge.
Yeah. So like growing up, he used to have me like riding around on the inside the pickle factory with him and stuff like that. Like when I was like 5, 6, 7. So I remember those memories and stuff like that. But I just always wanted to be like him. He created opportunities, like created jobs for my whole family. If anybody needed money, he was just there to help them. He was always there. Physically, mentally, financially. So I always wanted to be like him. And then my mom and dad, I'm with them every day. So I see them, and I was like always wanted to. My mom was like, always go to school. You don't gotta be an entrepreneur. Like she wanted me to be an entrepreneur, but she wanted me to go to school and just get the opportunity, not just to be an entrepreneur. She wanted to see like other things. If I wanted to see other things as well, like she wanted to have my.
What does she do?
My mom owns hair salons.
Okay.
And then my dad, he has a carpentry company.
Okay.
And then he also does he has a 4-wheeler ATV shop. So he like works on them, rebuilds them, customizes them, sells them.
So you've seen this for your entire life.
Yeah.
Is your grandfather still alive?
No, he passed away.
Man, that'd be a crazy story if he could see all of this stuff unfold.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. I know your parents are extremely proud of you. Are they still full-time entrepreneurs?
Well, my mom's not because she well, my mom, she's like part-time does it, but my dad, he's still full-time. He's actually kind of like slowed down the carpentry company and more so just kind of focused on the 4-wheeler ATV. He wants to like build it up and just like kind of be like a West Coast customs type of thing. We just customize and resell them, stuff like that. So he's trying to grow the business now. He only started the business about like 5 years ago. So
Okay.
he's recently, like, he wasn't like full time into the business because he still had the carpentry company. And now he's kind of giving his all to it, and it's actually blowing up a lot. And I kind of helped him like with some of the stuff I learned, because, you know, like most people like his age, they don't know like the technology and the marketing and stuff like that. So I kind of like helped him with some stuff, and it kind of grew his business a little bit.
That's cool.
You know, so
Full circle moments, man.
Yeah.
That's cool. Are they still in Philly?
they both in Philly, yeah. And then most of my family is entrepreneurs too. Like one of my cousins, she owns a daycare, and then most of the women of my family all do hair. Yeah, so it's kind of like a
Man, that's crazy. So 24 years old, and you have your own, and you're out here. Obviously, you know, we're sitting here because you're doing great things.
Yeah.
What about the college days? Like, because you talked about mom pushing you to get an education, and obviously you valued education enough to go on that HBCU tour, land at TSU, graduate from TSU. Did you find that it just wasn't for you? You didn't want to go into corporate America. You didn't want to go the traditional route. What mom and dad and grandpops did was more attractive, or were you kind of forced into because I know a lot of people graduate with degrees and like they can't find a job. So were you forced into creating your own? Were you doing it in school? Like, what did that journey look like?
Well, it's a lot to it. When I graduated, well, I feel like, you know, when I went to school, not for my parents, but like that was for my, I feel like that was for my mom. Like I wanted to go ahead and do that, you know, make her feel good. So, but I also want to do it because like going to school, I wouldn't just say like going to college. It didn't. I feel like I wasn't going for a job. I was going for the experience because like me going to school, even though I did, you know, I'm not using my degree right now, but I went to school and I wouldn't have been doing, or I don't think I'll be at the level I'm at because if I didn't go to school. Like I, you know, coming in the fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi, that helped me out, got me a lot of mentors, connections, stuff like that to just, you know, give me advice and stuff like that. Meeting different people, so like, you know, just talking to people, you know, helped me do a lot of things that it would have took me longer to do. So that kind of helped me. Like I had opportunities to go get a job and stuff like that because I was actually doing like some stuff with the Predators, you know. But like I was looking at the list of jobs for mass communication, none of them was like appealing to me. I'm like, I don't really see myself doing any of these things. But I actually wanted to do what I'm doing now, like my sophomore year in college. I kept calling my parents like, man, there's like no Philly food down here. They're like, I'm like, I hate it down in Nashville. They don't got no good food. I can't get no Philly cheesesteak, no Philly water ice. So like that's like a staple in Philadelphia. So you know, I'm just like, it's good food in Nashville, but it's all kind of the same. Like you got the same type of food. Like back in Philly, you got different cultures. Like so many cultures living in Philly, and it's so authentic. You can go get it anywhere, anytime. So, you know, I wanted to kind of bring that to Nashville, and I feel like that people. I tell people like, man, you never had a Philly cheesesteak? Or people used to always ask me, like, man, so you from Philly? Like, how is it? Like, and it's like crazy to them, and I'm like, dang, like, people really feel that way about Philly, you know? And they're like, man, I love Philly cheesesteaks, man. I want to get a real Philly one day. So I feel like that was something that needed to come.
A real Philly.
Yeah. And then Italian ice, like that, like a lot of people never knew what that was. So it was like I try to tell them like, well, we call it Philly water ice. It's kind of different than Italian ice. It's the texture is real soft and creamy. Like, and then people kind of think it's like a snow cones or a slushy, but it's not. It's his own thing. Like it's not like this. It's not like that. It's Philly water ice.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Like it ain't that. Yeah. So
that's cool. So you said you went to school not necessarily to go get a job, but for the experience. And like I talk to a lot of students and let them know if you want to go the entrepreneur route, you have a canvas of free people that you have access to on the college campus.
Exactly.
So once you leave that college campus, you're paying for marketing, you're paying for this access, but while you're there, you have access to all of these people, all of these parties, all of these organizations that you can just use as your canvas, your playing ground to learn and find out what people like, what people don't like. So it's really interesting to hear you say you went for the experience. And then your sophomore year, this thing clicked in your head to say, I can't get my hands on the real Philly.
Yeah.
And so now we kind of snowball and end up in this place now to where you're a 24-year-old entrepreneur. We're currently sitting inside your food shack.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Thank you.
That's dope, man.
That.
Extremely proud of you. I do want to dig into the nuts and bolts of what it means to be an entrepreneur. And I think you're really young, like I mentioned before. I mean, what type of systems do you have in place? How is it going from college to where people are used to just having that college vibe? Now you're CEO, so people have to look at you and respect you differently. Let's dig into and find out how you're able to operate this business that we see. I mean, let's start from establishing it. I mean, you went from the idea as a sophomore, but I didn't know anything about it until maybe a year or two ago.
Yeah.
So what did that journey look like?
Somebody told me too, it was like the most people that you ever will like be in contact with on a daily basis is on the college campus.
Yeah.
So that always stuck with me.
Yeah.
So I was actually my mom and dad was like, yeah, you should do, my mom and dad was like, yeah, you should start selling Philly water ice. And it's crazy because I had two separate conversations with them. I told my dad about the idea. He was like, yeah, you should start doing like Philly water ice down there. And my mom said it too, but I never told them that I had two separate conversations. They both told me I should do it. Like, that was the idea they told me. I didn't say anything about it. I was like, you should start doing Philly water ices down there. So we fast forward to my senior year. Me and my roommate, we were, my best friend, we were supposed to move to Atlanta together. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it in Atlanta. But we were going to move to Atlanta the summer of 2018. At the end of the summer, we was going to save up all our money. And then I got to like around January. I'm like, I was like, man, I know so many people in Nashville. I was like, I got like, so many connections. I got my Kappa brothers. I got my track teammates. I got everybody on campus. A lot of people know me. So I was like, I should start it here and then take it to Atlanta. So that's when I was like, something just clicked. One day I was like, I was just trying to research on how I can get the Philly water ice to Nashville. So I figured out a way how to do that. And then I just started, I bought a deep freezer and then I put it on Instagram and stuff like that. And I started selling out my apartment. So if everybody see the 2928 on my back of my shirt,
that's where it started.
So that's where we put the established. That's the Ford apartment. So that's where it started. And man,
who all was in their room?
So it was me, DeMarcus Jones. That's my roommate now.
Okay.
Best friend from Philly. Desmond and Isaiah. So it was us three in there.
Dang, they were a part of something special.
Yeah. So they helped me a lot. So like whenever I wasn't there, they'll collect the money, scoop it for me or something like that. Like it was just looking out. But man, our apartment was like, people was coming through like all day long.
That's
like,
the spot.
No matter what time of night, people would knock on my door like 2 o'clock in the morning. Like I'm like,
I'm looking for the water ice.
I'd be asleep and I was just like, go ahead and do it. And then that kind of blew up. Everybody on campus was talking about it. And then like when events started happening, I started doing it on campus. So everybody knew about it like quick. And then after that, after I graduated, I was like, I'm gonna go home. I was like, I'm gonna try to get a food truck. I was like, what if I go back down there? I was like, so I threw a fish fry, told everybody on campus. It was like a good turnout. Probably made like $3,000, $2,000. Like I was just telling everybody, just hustling, had my friends help me. So we did a little fish fry at the Kappa house right by TSU. And then I went home and then I just worked the whole summer. So I worked, saved all my money up. I threw another fish fry in Philly, got everybody's support. Then I took all the money that I made, and I bought the food truck. So I bought it's a food trailer. So I bought it, and then my dad kind of helped me out with the carpentry side. But that was mainly like, cause he had to work, two businesses, so he really couldn't help me like that. So I was mainly doing it myself the whole summer by myself. So painting, all that, like I just I know how to do like little carpentry stuff growing up, like electric and stuff like that. So I was just in there every day, grinding it out. And then like August came, it was done. And then I'm like, my parents like, no, you should wait. No, I was like, no, I'm going. I came like back to Nashville, like $200 to my name. I was like, I'm just gonna go for it, Got in my car, drove, had enough money for gas, got back down here. I was also doing DJ. I used to DJ, so when I had a gig that day. The next day I came back down here, I made like $300. So that was all the money I had. And then Isaiah, his grandma passed away. She left him a house, well, like the house to so he let me and Jonesy stay there. We stayed there and we was paying rent and stuff like that. So that kind of helped me out a lot. And then that's when I was full time with the food truck. I just like opened up shop. I was driving around, just selling the water ice. You know, I put up the campus.
So let me pause you. So you said you left Philly with $200 to your name.
Yeah, and like a credit card.
So I just don't feel like most people would have done that.
Yeah.
And so I don't want you to skim over that point because I really want to talk about the mindset that came along with that decision. Like, what is it that you believed in so much that said, I'm going to leave home, my nest, and I'm going to go back to Nashville and I'm going to give this thing a shot with $200 to my name, not really sure how it's going to work.
Yeah.
Like, what was it?
It was just I believed in myself. I betted on myself. I was just like, I know that it was gonna work. I didn't really have a plan A. I ain't had no job coming back down here. All I had was like that one DJing gig, and I was like, I ain't come down here like, oh, I got a job when I come back to Nashville, nothing like that. My parents like, you should wait, save up some money. Then I'm like, nah. Something was just telling me like, go. So and then like I came down here. You know, I had the little money. Then I paid my rent. You know, and then it was just like, what's next? So it was like I gotta go. You know, I gotta make this work. So it wasn't like. So I guess I put myself in a position that was like I gotta make it work. So that kind of stepping on that faith. It was just like I gotta make it work. And then so what I did was I used to sit over by TSU sometimes. Like at first it's crazy because like it was 2018. I was sitting at the corner. Some days I make like $20. You know, and I wasn't like sad or nothing. I was just like, man, it's gonna come. Like it's gonna come. Like I was like sitting there making $20. Some days I'll make $100. It'd go back up, go back down. But it wasn't really no money made. And then like fast forward to like 2018, the end of 18, where sometimes I'll sit on the corner, you know, to everybody from campus, and it'd be like $2,000 a day, you know, $3,000 a day. You know, it was just like booming because it was just like I was building up, and it was like it's crazy how I can go from making $20, $30 to making that much money in a day, you know. So it's just like patience. That's what it was. Like,
so you painted this food truck yourself, worked with Pops to get it all up and going, and then you went and sat in TSU's neighborhood. That's the neighborhood you knew for 4 years.
Yeah, I was comfortable over there. I knew the students, and I just tell everybody like, "Hey, pull up! I got the Philly water ice." And
pull up.
Yeah, like just pull up. So they'll come over. Like eventually, people will start walking by. And, you know, more and more people just start coming. So I just sit over there from the end of 2018 to the end of 2008. No, to the end of 2019, that's where I set it up every day. Not every day, but that was my main spot. And I traveled. So 2019, that's when I added like the Philly egg rolls. And, you know, I started adding more to the menu because I started having money to buy more equipment and stuff like that. So once the end of 2018, it started getting cold outside. So that kind of like developed like man, is this gonna work? Like it's cold now, like I can't make no money. So I was like, I gotta find something else to do. So I got a job at I know it was temporary, and it was kind of like, you know, even with entrepreneurs, sometimes you might have to get like another extra job, but it's like not, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do to make it work. So some people don't want to get a job and then like they kind of fail, but it's not like it's gonna be forever. You just gotta do it just to make your stuff work. So I got a job at the juvenile detention center. And I was working there, and I just moved to my apartment, so I really had bills now. So and then I got a car, so I was like, oh, I got like, you know, I got car note bills. I was like, so I had to work there for a little bit, and then like, man, I was working there for like 3 months, and I was like, I cannot do this. You know, I used to be at work all the time telling people, like, man, I was like, I got a food truck, you know. They like, are you working here? Yeah. So I was like, no, it's cold outside. So then fast forward like February, I quit. You know, I was working there for like 3 months. I quit. I just told them like I can't do it no more. And then I went back full-fledged entrepreneur since then. and it was crazy because I really started making money, and I really was like hustling because it was like, all right, I got real bills now, and I was like, Monday I'll be in Murfreesboro, Tuesday I'll be in Smyrna, you know, Wednesday I'll be by TSU. I was just driving everywhere, you know, going to corporate offices. I started doing corporate office lunches and stuff like that. So it was crazy, yeah.
Man, I interned at a financial advising company when I was in graduate school, and I had the opportunity to see and sit with a lot of professional athletes. And the one thing that was always looked down upon by these financial advisors was opening a restaurant, because it's one of the scariest, most volatile investments that somebody can make, because restaurants come all the time, but they fail all the time. And so, like, to hear your story about going into this, like, it's crazy to me. It's crazy. So thinking about the fact that you had to go back into work, like you said, a lot of people look at that like a failure.
Yeah.
And then they would get so addicted to their consistent paycheck coming in that they would walk away from their dream.
Right.
Did you have something that you were doing every day to make sure that you kept yourself looking forward to it's a Philly thing, opposed to, you know what, man, I got bills, I got a car note, this juvenile detention center may not be what I desire to do, but it's consistent. Like, how did you balance that mindset?
I knew it wasn't. I seen, you know, not to downplay it, but I seen like people just being there forever and stuff like that, and I was like, man, I can't do that. I was like, I can't be here forever. But I always knew that like this is just temporary. Like, I just kept saying to myself, this is temporary. You know, I'm only here for a little bit. And then, you know, I was kind of like thinking about my mind, like, how can I make this work? Like, juggle both. And I'm like, no, you can't. You have to go full-fledged. And what I was doing over the wintertime, I was just emailing like so many companies, because what I found out is a lot of food trucks, they'll go to a lot of lunches, like corporate office lunches, and like from 11 to 2 and serve the whole company. Like, basically what you do is you send out an email, like, hey, I have a food truck, or sometimes if you're an association, they'll do it for you, and they'll get like a contract where that they'll notify. It'll be different food trucks every week at a certain day, or sometimes they have them every day. But basically, I was just emailing the company like, hey, I have a food truck. Do you guys do food truck for lunch? Some would say yes, some would say no. So I just kept like finding different places, just emailing them. And then I got booked up for like 2019, you know, just booking myself up. And I'm like, just all like, I ain't have no idea if it was going to work or not. I just did it. So they're like, yeah. So I just had like different places that I was coming to pull up at. And then, you know, some people were just like, man, hey, I heard about you. You know, my friend such and such, they said you came to their job, and then you come to our job. And then they'll tell the whole company to come out during that certain time. They'll send your menu out and stuff like that. So, which is really cool. And that'll help you actually build up like a base like that, because you're driving all around, you know, Nashville or whatever city you're in, and you're talking to all those different, you're meeting all those different customers, you know. So.
Man, restaurant game has changed.
Yeah, so.
Like, how, opposed to what most brick and mortars, when we think about this standalone spot, how has that changed in 2020, 2019, where people are, because food trucks are booming now. And like you said, you can drive around whatever city you're in and pull up on people. And so it's not like you have to be in one place. Like, how has that changed the game for entrepreneurs? Has it made it easier access, or?
Pros and cons, because it's like, it's only a certain amount of things you can do with a food truck. I was like, okay, you can't store a certain amount of food on there, so you always bound to run out. You know, as far as like a store, you would not bound to run out, because you should have, you know, enough food for, you know, prep that day or whatever. So there's a lot of pros and cons with it, but the food truck, you can always go to people. That's the pro about it. Like, you know, wherever the people are, but especially with COVID, you know, people are not outside like that no more. But what the food truck did, they like did a new thing where they'll contact the whole community, and the whole community will come out and they can order online or at that food truck, or they can just pull up. So that now they're not serving just like one particular spot, they're serving the whole neighborhood, which is cool, because people don't have to go nowhere for food. Like, they be like, oh, you know, this food truck is coming to our community today, so we can just go here and
That's
eat.
lunch for today.
Exactly. So where, you know, they don't have to come all the way to the brick and mortar. They can just go to the food truck, you know. So, but, you know, then again, you know, sometimes it might be slow, you know. It's all like pros and cons with it. But it's definitely the food truck game. I think it's definitely a great business, especially when COVID is over. It's amazing because there's so many festivals. People always want to eat, and you always can go to the people. So, like, I definitely think the food truck business is definitely good.
So you brought the taste of Philly to Nashville. Do you get your products from Philly?
Yeah, most of the products come from Philly.
All right, let's walk through that. I think it's important for entrepreneurs to see what that journey looks like. So let's go from you ordering the food to someone taking it and eating it. Let's go through all of those steps and what that looks like.
So like, before I was gonna start, basically what Philly known for, it's not even about like with the Philly cheesesteak, it's not even about the steak or the cheese and all. It's about the bread. That's what really makes it. So it's called Omarosa. That's the company in Philly. So if you serving Philly cheesesteaks and you're not using Omarosa bread,
you don't really have a Philly cheesesteak.
Yeah. So you can't say it's a real Philly cheese. It's not a real Philly cheesesteak if you know, because like, you know, a lot of places in Philly they use different meat. So some people use sirloin, some people use ribeye. You know, so it really doesn't matter about the meat. It's the bread. It's the bread. So I wasn't gonna do it unless I got the bread shipped in. So I was just figuring out ways, you know, seeing like Googling like, how can I get this bread down here? You know, and I called the company up and they're like, hey, this supplier sells it, this, that, and the third. So once I got, you know, found that they sell it, I was like, I need to go get an account with them. Once I got an account with them, it was like, hey, we do have the bread. How much would you need? So that's how I slowly started getting everything. I just started pulling all the different pieces. Like, okay, I need this from Philly. I need that from Philly. And then like the mayo and all that stuff I can get from like certain like topping and stuff I can get from Nashville. But the key ingredients I had to get from Philly. So once I got an account with a certain distributor, I got them to ship it from Philly to them. They hold it there for me, and I just order it as I need, and they'll always keep it in stock. And once I order it, it comes in here. You know, we prepare it for the customer each day, you know.
That's crazy. So you order this from Philly. It comes to Nashville.
Yeah.
You pick it up.
They drop it off.
They drop it off.
18-wheeler comes, you drop everything off. We load it up in the store. We make it, and then serve it.
So what about the meats? Do the meats come from Philly, or is that something that's local?
So I got the meats from Philly too. So I use the meats from Philly, the chicken and the steak, which comes from Philly.
Bread, chicken, steak comes from Philly.
And Philly water ice.
And the water ice.
All straight from Philly, yeah.
So it comes in from Philly. They deliver it to the food truck. Then you have a team of people here to help you prep that for
the day,
serving it for the day.
Yeah.
How often do you have to order?
It got kind of slower, you know, in the wintertime, but summertime we was ordering like 3 times a week. So like, but they'll keep like basically what they'll do is they'll calculate the numbers and see how much I'm doing a week. So they'll order more. Like, it's kind of like them taking a gamble. They don't know how much I'll be really ordering, so they'll go ahead and order a lot for me, and they'll keep it at their warehouse, and then I'll just go ahead and order how much I need, by the volume. But if they need to up their volume, they'll go back to people and feel like, hey, we need more of this or more of that, or they'll tell them like, hey, on next shipment, just send us this amount, you know. So, you know, I'm not losing on my end, and that's with a lot of people too, because a lot of restaurants have to storage their food. They have to that was a big conflict that I thought I would have to have. I thought I would have to have like an actual frozen storage. That was great that they can, you know, and I don't have to buy as much, you know, from them at one time. So that kind of helped out a lot.
So one thing that I know a lot of entrepreneurs deal with and battle and never get to this point, it's because of money and finances. What is your outlook on the numbers? Because any business is a numbers game, but especially with restaurants, because food goes to waste, you know, and like you mentioned about storing, freezers, so on and so forth. How are you watching these numbers? How important are the numbers for you in running that business?
I think as far as like restaurants, you definitely want to keep your expenses as low as possible. So I think with a lot of restaurants too, they some people like, hey, they go rent out an expensive spot, so you gotta find whatever is like the smallest and like the simplest way you can do it, and then build your way up. So like when I started out with the food trailer, like I knew like I owned it, so I didn't have to pay out. Like some people would go and buy $100,000 food truck where you gotta pay the insurance, the note, and then you still gotta pay your employees. So where your expenses are too high, but you're not making enough money. So where eventually you have to close down shop. But you can start off small. Like I started off in my apartment, then I went, just kind of keep building up to each level that you can afford. Because don't just try to rush out. Some people just want, I feel like I can't do it if I don't have a $100,000 food truck. No, you can just start out small and build your way up, because if people really like your stuff or you got a good following, they'll support you. However, if you're doing it out your house, people will support you. So I think just building it up and keep your expenses low, and also keep your personal expenses low. That's what a lot of people, especially starting out with people, just, because sometimes you can even make money, like, especially with entrepreneurs, that you make money, it's not like a basic job. You getting paid the same exact money. Like if you work a basic job, you getting paid the same exact money all the time. Entrepreneur, you can make $100,000 this week, $5,000 this week, $300 next week. So it's like you gotta know how to manage your money on like a month. Like say if you want, like you gotta basically break it down. Like okay, this is how much money I need to survive each month. So this is how much money that I need to put aside. Like say if 1 month I make $10,000, okay, but I only want to keep $2,000 for myself. So I take out that $2,000, or I might take out extra because the next month I might only make $5,000. But I got that extra money from last month saved over, and I can put it towards that month to equal it out. Some people will go and spend all that money in the next
thinking
month,
that they're gonna get $10,000 every month. Yeah.
Exactly, and you shouldn't do that. So basically, I feel like that you need to keep your personal expenses down too, until you can get to that level where you can consistently get in that much money each month. That's what.
What about people expenses, and like how did you create a team of people around you? I know a lot of the people that are working with you went to school with you, and so it is hard to walk through those friendships sometimes when, we've been partying together, living together, vibing together. Now I have a business. And so at the end of the day, we have to run a business. And so even through those friendships, you may have to have tough conversations. What is it like navigating that world between conversations with friends, but you're also an employee?
So, most of the people in my circle kind of also have their own thing going on. So a lot of them understand it's kind of like a family thing. So it's like, most of the people only reason I kept some people around is because that they look at it like, okay, they see the bigger picture. They see that it can go to this, and they look at it like, okay, they kind of look at it as their business too. So that's the kind of people that I kept around. Other people that didn't look at it like that, kind of like slowly, backed up from them. But I feel like though, people always can't say, you can't work with anybody or you can't work. You should hire people or family, in certain circumstances, because certain people are in your best interest and certain people are envious. But you kind of gotta find those people that want to help you out. So keep those people around, but definitely always hire, other people as well, because sometimes even if you hire a friend, you might hire a stranger and they will be better than that friend, So it's just like, it's kind of a balance between, it's just as far as like, I think it's people to people basis.
But through this time with COVID and everything, obviously, I don't know, sales may have gone up for you, but I know in a lot of restaurants are shutting down because of COVID. How has that impacted you as a business owner and having to have conversations with people? Because once you are a business owner, now you are kind of responsible for those people working for you. Those people have expenses, they have families. How are you able to have those conversations to say, we can't have 5 or 6 people in the truck today because we don't have, that type of business coming in?
I guess it's kind of growth. You're just learning as you go, because everything I'm doing, it really wasn't a blueprint laid out for me. And then like most of the stuff I'm doing, I'm just learning as I go. So I feel like it's like that. And then as far as like my business, as far as like the way that this store was built and stuff like that, being as though that we are kind of like a shack, and then people can order online and or just pick up at the window. They have to come inside. That kind of helped us through the pandemic because like in the pandemic, you know, I was even shocked because I'm like, hey, business might be slow in the pandemic. Like it was surprising that when we opened up, the first couple of days, it been packed. So like the whole summer was like great for us. You know, the whole year has been. I predicted my sales was going to be way lower than they were, and it is amazing. Like the
Really?
pandemic, yeah. So, and then like us, you know, being in a couple of news articles and making the news and stuff like that. That kind of just took us even because we were already before like because I just did like a lot of. I kept posting on Instagram and stuff like that. Real Philly Cheesesteak spot in Nashville, best Philly Cheesesteak. So people was just kind of hype, and then like I posted in the neighborhood group message like, hey. You know, I told them my story, and I told them, like, hey, this is authentic Philly. I'm from Philly. So it kind of got, like, the word spread, like quick fire. And then once we opened up, every day we have a long line. Like, and then it's crazy because, like, people line up before we even open. So, like, that's, like, amazing, like, you know, and just, like, crazy. Like, yeah, like, people would be out there an hour, 30 minutes before we open, just standing out there so they can be the first customer. And then, like, everybody, just so many good reviews and stuff like that. It's just awesome, you know.
What's your value on customer service? Because you just mentioned that people line up 30 minutes, an hour before. We both went to TSU, and so I know one of the unspoken rules was they keep the club door closed so they can build a line so when people drive by, it looks attractive. It looks like it's popping.
Yeah.
How do you create that type of hype outside of the shack, but at the same time, people are satisfied with the customer service that they're getting? They don't feel like they're waiting forever.
Yeah.
Like, how do you navigate that space?
Well, I try to push it out as the fastest as we can. So that's the number one thing. And then like a lot of people gotta understand, like they think like, oh, Philly cheesesteak, it's not like a fast food. So it's not like it's all freshly made. So it's not like when you order, like you order that specific order, we're making it like from scratch. So it's like people think like, oh man. So I kind of got to implement that. But people, when they line up, I just try to get it to them as fast as they can. You know, I try to make everything the exact same way. So just to try to keep it, we're trying to keep everything on a same basis. Just keep everything the same way. The system just flowing the same way, just to keep it so the time is the same, the food tastes the same, and the customer service is the same every time.
So I heard you in an interview to say, if the person on the grill is not from Philly, it's not a real Philly.
Yeah, well, like as far as like, whoever's because I started it, so like I taught everybody, so now I don't have to be on it no more. But like, if you go to like a Philly spot and any person, because like people come here all the time, like, hey, where you from? And I'm like, Philly, like, yeah, like it's a Philly cheesesteak spot, like. I don't know where they be like expecting me to be from, but like I feel like if me owning a Philly cheesesteak spot, I gotta be from Philly. Like I wouldn't go to a person that was like from Africa, like and he owned a Philly cheesesteak spot. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, so
I think that's good. So you talked about creating a system to where everybody can make their Philly cheesesteak the same way.
Yeah.
How is it when you're not here, or when you step away for a moment? Do you feel good about your team delivering that Philly cheesesteak the way you would, or are you always on edge like, man, I hope nobody messes up today?
As you do it more and more, at first it's your baby. Whatever business you're doing, you always want to be there because you want people to treat it and do it like the same way you do it. But people are never going to look at it or treat things or look at things like how you would look at it. So you gotta put those systems in place. So even if they don't want to do it or they not thinking about it the way you do it, they'll do it the same way you would do it. So it's kind of like that. You're still there because you're always going to have that thing in the back of your mind. Like, I hope this is going right. I hope that is going right. But you gotta put those things in place. So it has to go right. If you're not there, they have to follow this. And if they're not following that, then they can't be a part of your team. So
yeah, because Nashville is booming. So you never really know who might pull up, you know. And if one thing goes wrong, it's like a reflection of
or the business.
Yeah. So take us through. You talked about training people on that grill. like, how do you make a Philly cheesesteak? What's the real way to make the Philly cheesesteak?
So the real way, man. Well, I told you gotta have that Omarosa roll.
Okay.
You gotta have the Omarosa roll. We use ribeye. You know, you definitely gotta have that. You know, that ribeye is the seasoning. You know, you definitely gotta have good seasoning. And
Is this homemade seasoning?
Yeah, it's a Philly thing seasoning we created. So,
Okay.
And then the meat to bread portion ratio, like meat, cheese, you gotta have that ratio down pat. You don't want to give too much meat. You don't want to give too much bread. You know what I'm saying? So, because in some spots they'll give you bread. You know, it's like ain't no meat on the sandwich.
Yeah.
So you gotta have it like it's kind of perfect. Because you know when people eating it, they want to taste that bread and they want to taste that meat, but they don't want to. You don't want to have one thing overpowering the other.
Gotcha.
So like when you put the meat on, we season the meat. You know, you gotta have the onions. You definitely gotta have the onions. You know, and then basically like the original Philly is kind of basic. You know, some people in Philly just do provolone.
Okay.
And then they do cheese whiz. But like the original Philly just started out. It was on Omarosa bread roll, onions, and cheese. Provolone. They added cheese whiz later. You know, so and then a lot of people in Philly do like I know in Philly, I do bread, meat. You do cheese, onions, and ketchup. A lot of people down here don't do ketchup. They like ketchup. So ketchup definitely it got to go in your Philly.
Really?
Yeah. Especially like where I'm from, that's where a lot of people do it. You know, certain parts of the city they don't want to do ketchup, but it's kind of different. You know, throughout the city.
So we got the meat. We season the meat. We got the Omarosa bread.
Put the toppings on. Some people want different toppings, but in Philly we just really do onions, and then you add the cheese and you're done.
And you're good to go.
Yeah, it's really a basic.
So is it a
sandwich.
real Philly if you don't have the whiz?
Yeah, it is because you can just do the provolone. You know, a lot of people in Philly don't really do whiz like that. They do American cheese, so it's kind of they try to be a little bougie in Philly. So yeah, but I mean, it's whatever your preference. But you gotta have that Omarosa roll. That's what make it Philly.
So I haven't had the Philly cheesesteak. I've had the chicken.
The chicken. Yeah.
Is that a popular now? I know a lot of people on health kicks and all that.
So a lot of people, I mean, growing up in Philly, I mostly always eat the chicken. So a lot of people in Philly eat the chicken. Like the chicken is good, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. The chicken is good. That's definitely a staple. People get that chicken, they still say Philly chicken cheesesteak.
Really?
Yeah, they still say steak, but it's a Philly chicken, it's Philly chicken, but they say Philly chicken cheesesteak. That's what you gotta say when you're in Philly.
So you started with water ice. You evolved into the cheesesteaks. I think I saw something on social media about sauce. Is that something that you're doing?
Yeah, we're doing like our own little house-made sauces. It's a Philly thing sauce. We're trying to create like just branding the business so we can branch out. We starting to sell our own sauces now and stuff like that. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Who came up with the sauces?
Me. I just created like all. I know I had a list of like different type of sauces I want, and then we just start playing around with the different sauces, and that's what it was.
So if people come to It's a Philly Thing, they can get the water ice. I guess depending on the season.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, we still have it in.
Really?
Yes, because some people still get it.
Okay.
Even in Philly, like people still get water ice all year long. They just get it, hurry up and get in the car and eat it.
Eat it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't personally really eat Philly water ice in the wintertime, but I do like I do it here and there. Yeah. So we still got that.
Water ice, Philly cheesesteak, the sauce. Any other products you got?
The egg rolls.
Egg rolls.
Chicken and steak, and then we have fries. And we're about to add on the Philly cheesesteak fries and the Philly chicken cheesesteak fries.
That's coming.
So yeah, that's how you do it in Philly too. They got the cheese fries, and then you got the chicken cheesesteak fries. It's just they throw the meat on top of the cheese fries, and it's just some other like meat cheese.
Are the egg roll, is that a Philly staple, or is that something you came up with?
Most Philly cheesesteak spots don't sell it, but like a lot of the Chinese stores in Philly sell it. They have the egg roll, so that's kind of where I was like, that's still part of Philly though, because growing up in Philly, they sell all different type of egg rolls, like pizza egg rolls, chicken cheesesteak egg rolls, shrimp egg rolls. So I was like, that's part of our culture, so I should bring it down, and I'd be like a good. Some people don't want to get the whole sandwich. They can get a little treat of the egg roll, and it's the same exact thing that's in the sandwich inside the egg roll.
How do you determine what you add to the menu?
I keep the menu basic, so I think that's really it. Like everything that I have on there is going to stay the same. I'm not going to add nothing else.
So after we get these fries, It's it.
Yeah, that's it. Because I'm trying to keep it as Philly as possible.
Master those things.
And small menu, that's another thing too about businesses. You got to keep your menu small. You can't give people too many options.
Why?
Because your inventory. So now you got all these things, and some people might not buy this, or some people might not buy that, but you got to keep it in your inventory. So then, if people not buying that, then you got waste, and then now you just throwing away money. But if you kind of got the same things, you buying the same thing, you not too much waste, and so people when they come, it's simple. So they know what they want, and they get them in and out. So people come here, they know I'm gonna get a Philly cheesesteak or a Philly chicken cheesesteak or some egg rolls and water ice, fries. They come, they know like okay, sandwiches, fries and egg rolls.
Save you a lot of money.
Yeah, and
That's cool.
time too, because you don't have to go and make this and make that. We just doing the same stuff over and over again in here. So it's just like if they get this, they get that. Most of the people getting the same things. So some people get 2 cheesesteaks, egg rolls, bam, we're dishing it out fast. Yeah, so.
Gotcha. So, what do you say to the young entrepreneur? I say that you're 24, but what do you say to that person that has these goals, these aspirations to start a business, even at a young age? What nuggets that you wish you could have received from someone that you would give to that person?
Don't think about the cost. That's the number one thing. A lot of people shy away from things because they think it's going to cost too much, and you gotta let fear go. That's the number 2 things. I think cost and fear. People are afraid to do things, so don't be afraid because, and then no matter how old you are, I feel like you don't fail until you give up. Like even if this don't work out for me, I'm not giving up on my life and my dreams and my goals. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like. You can't give up. If one thing might not work out, it might just because you got to believe like that, like, oh, something else is better is coming, This might help me with something else, you know what I'm saying? So people just gotta believe, have faith, patience, and don't count the cost, just gotta believe in themselves and do it now. Like whatever they really want to do, try to find out how to do it now because I wish I would have started back then. Or if I would have knew what I wanted to do, I could have started saving more. I wish. I even tell people that's in college, I was like, save your money because when you graduate college, you should try to graduate like $10,000 because whatever you want to do, like even if you want to be an entrepreneur, when you want to start life, you should have something to graduate with. So I wish that whatever you want to do, find out what it costs, find out how to do it, talk to people that's doing it. So that once you're doing it, everything that's building up to it is it'll help you in the long run. So before you do it, gather all the tools you need to start because the more you're prepared, the better. You never will be prepared enough for something, but you can be prepared better than others. So I definitely whereas though you won't have to start all the way back here. You get enough tools, you can start up here. And then it'll help you get to your next level faster.
So I know you're able to have conversations with moms, pops. Is there anybody in the restaurant industry that you're able to take wisdom from?
I talked to some Huskies. They in my chapter of Cap Officer. So I talked to them. They give me some games, stuff like that. One of their other persons in their part of their team, their company, is named Jason. They're like chef. He comes up with a lot of their stuff. I talked to him. My guy from Rhythm and Spice. It's a local restaurant in Nashville. Who else? One of my friends from my older mentors from back home. He owns like a donut shop. So like it's just like over the years. That's another thing. You never know who you might need in the long run. So you should try to treat everybody the same because that person that you never know might turn into this or turn into that because. Me, I used to work at his, the guy from Philly, he used to be my general manager at the Auntie Anne's I used to work at growing up. So I was always cool with him. He was older, he used to give me advice, stuff like that. Now he owns a business. I call him whenever hey, I need help with this or I need help with that. And then he'll just tell me, this, that, and the third. Yeah, so, definitely, you can reach out to anybody because that's another thing, like, just reaching out. Because people will help you. People are willing to help. People are like, man, I don't know if I should reach out. You should just reach out and see. You know, you reach out to 10 people, 2 people might answer, you know, and they'll help you. You know, people, they'll give you a game. Like, okay, another person is Big Shakes. He has a couple of restaurants as well. Somebody introduced me to him, you know, just off of me knowing somebody. They just introduced me to him without even me asking. They was like, hey, it's a guy I want you to meet, you know.
Wow.
So I also got some game from him too.
I think a lot of people get trapped behind not knowing the right words to say and approach people. Is there anything that you would advise people to say when they approach someone about mentorship in business or in life or whatever? Is there a certain way that you approach it?
Yeah, I feel like you just tell them exactly what you don't have to tell people what you're trying to do. Just say, hey, you know, how you doing? You know, some people just need to kind of try to have a conversation with the person, like, hey, how you doing? You know, introduce yourself, and then just tell them like what you kind of need help with. Like, hey, you know, I see you doing this. You know, would you mind helping me with this or giving me some advice with this, or just asking people? Well, I think it should start off having a conversation. It was like, hey, would you mind if I, you know, had a chat with you? And that's where you introduce that. You know, now they'll tell you if they'll be able to help you or not. You know, just ask them, can y'all be able to set up a phone call or
Gotcha.
Or email each other back and forth or something like that.
Gotcha. And then where do you hope to take It's a Philly thing? I know we talked about you originally wanted to do it in Atlanta. Is your goal still to get back to Atlanta, or is it to crash out Nashville, go crazy here? Do you want to get into more products like sauces? Yeah. What is the goal? What are you trying to do?
The goal is to definitely branch out here in Nashville. I definitely want to get like a big spot where it's kind of like a Philly city. So we're gonna get like buy a piece of land and put have different shacks for each part of Philly. Like we'll have like the Philly water ice over here, the Philly cheesesteaks over here, and we're gonna also do like the Philly pretzels. You know, we'll have like some. We'll take the water ice and put like liquor infused and stuff like that. So it's just we'll have like a little event space. It's gonna be like a real big space. That's what my plan is in Nashville. And once I take that and I have that down packed, I'm gonna blueprint that. And I don't think I'm a franchise, but I'm just gonna create different locations. So, and I'll have people, kind of like how Chick-fil-A does it. I'll have people they'll own it, but we'll have still ownership in it.
Gotcha.
So where we can have a lot of control over it, and then probably put one in each city. But I'm definitely gonna grow the business as far as it's more businesses inside of this business, and that's what a lot of people they can realize that as well, because some people try to go and create more and more businesses, but you can create more business inside of your business. So where I'm going to take the Philly water ice and we're going to distribute that so people can start their own Philly water ice company, or also people can just use it as far as like catering and stuff like that. So we're going to push for more of that. We're going to try to do like some frozen Philly cheesesteaks, you know, coming with an idea where like you take home kit, you could take it home and make the Philly cheesesteak at your house with your family. Frozen egg rolls, try to get those in markets. Sauces, we're gonna try to get the sauce line launched. So we'll have like all these different, you know, products where it's just like Philly thing's gonna be big.
That's like, cool. Nipsey Hussle talked about that vertical integration like that. And taking ideas from one central idea and, you know, branching off like that. That's dope. That's dope. So one thing that I like to do on the podcast is, I'm gonna let you hold this, is I blow this balloon up. And on the balloon, I'm going to ask that you write one word or one phrase that you feel like prevents people from taking that step that you took. So you took a step with $200 to your name, and you left from Philly and came back to Nashville. What is it that you think handcuffs people and prevents them from taking that step? So I'm going to blow this up, let you think about it, and then we'll write it on the balloon.
I actually have it on my phone.
Okay.
Let me pull it up. I have the exact. I'll make sure that I got it right. Can it be a phrase?
Yeah. That's very true. So, if you don't build your dream, someone else will hire you to build theirs. I think that's big. Talk about it.
That's something that I don't know where I ran across that, but I think I had that since high school. Like I always thought about it. I was like, man, somebody don't. If you don't build your dream, somebody's gonna hire you to build theirs. And it's like, I listen to. That's another thing. A lot of people, you can find mentors just not, by going out and finding an actual person. Like I listen to Eric Thomas. He's a mentor for me. I listen to some like the Denzel motivational ones. Robert Kiyosaki. Those people just help me. When I wake up early in the morning, I listen to them and just take some stuff from them, and that they just give me that motivation. And they just tell me like, man, like people, you can work the rest of your life for somebody else, and you die with your dreams. The motivational speaker. I cannot think of his name, but he talked about it. He was like that. So he said, if you want to go to find a lot of dreams, go to the grave.
Go to the grave.
Go to the grave, because a lot of people die with their dreams. So it's like, you got some dreams and you just go chase them. It's never too late to go do it. It's never, because like, what happens if you don't do it? Some people just afraid to try. So you definitely should try, because you say at least I did it. At least I tried. Because then you'll look back at life like regrets. So I want to live life with no regrets. Like I tried everything that I said I was going to do, and I did everything I said I was going to do. So that's
dope. That's dope. Well, we're gonna take the life out of that for people. Oh, so
no, you did. Yeah.
So man, let's keep it rolling. Tell people where they can find you. Give us the address to where we can pull up and get a Philly cheesesteak, all that good stuff.
Okay, so you can find us at It's the Philly Thing on Instagram, ITZAPHILYTHING, and we're on Twitter, Facebook. You can find us, find our pages. Check out our Google reviews, our Yelp reviews. We also at itsthephillything.com. You can order online. You can order from online also as well to get delivery. So you can get it delivered right to your house. Also, you can check out our story on itsthephillything.com. And the address here is 7609 Highway 70 South, Nashville, Tennessee, 37221. And we're right here in Bellevue, Tennessee.
Cool. And then how can people find your personal page?
My personal is at I am Zyhir. So it's at IMZYHIR. That's my personal page. And I'm on Twitter too also, so you guys can find me. If you want to reach out, ask questions, I'm here.
Cool, man. That was fun. I appreciate it.
Appreciate that.
All right. Cool.